Before we get to the Buccos, a couple interesting tweets. Donnie Chedrick just tweeted me, said, if you had to pick 3 notable players to get cut, who would you pick? He says Golson, Coates. Those are two good notable guys. Hilton might make the team and replace Golson.
Yeah, I don't know if Golson's considered a notable guy. He hasn't played. One down.
Yeah, I mean, other than being a second-round draft
I mean, yeah, that
guy,
makes him look like a real bust if he doesn't play. But, geez, oh, man, a guy has not done anything for him. I don't know how they can't keep him around a third year, I don't think, if he's not healthy.
Notable guys, I don't know if it would happen, but it would maybe surprise me if they cut Justin Hunter, even though they signed him to, a 1-year deal, and maybe now Davis. Those are 2 guys that
I don't sense that there's going to be any major
I don't see
major guys.
Yeah. I mean, they're not cutting Mike Mitchell. They're not cutting any of those guys on defense. No. I mean, I think the starters are set. I think you hit the nail on the head with Golson, if you consider him notable, Coates possibly, or Hunter, one of those 2 guys. But that's really about it. Benjamin Pagani said, is it fair to say Pirates season is over?
Well, after today's loss, I think it kind of certainly looks that way. You're up a run. First of all, you're up 4-0 early, and Garrett Cole can't hold it. Garrett Cole's supposed to be your ace. You scored 3 in the second, I believe it was, and you give up 3 in the inning, a couple home runs, including one by Neil Walker. You have a couple leads, you blow them, and then in the 8th inning, you're up 1, and Nicasio gives up a 2-run home run. Just a horrible, horrible, horrible loss. They're back to 4 games below 500 tonight. The Cubs are winning again. St. Louis was up on Boston in the bottom of the 9th, although I'm done watching the scoreboard here. As long as the Pirates are 4 games below 500, it's not even worth watching the scoreboard. You might argue they were done when they got swept at home by San Francisco. You remember how bad that series was. These 4 losses in a row at this point, and losing these 2 to Milwaukee with Nova last night, Garrett Cole tonight. Hard to overcome, man. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, especially when these are the teams that you're chasing.
Right. I try to stay with them as long as I can, but they've been such 2 steps up, 2 steps back, 2 steps up, 3 steps back. Every time you want to get excited about them, they fight their way back to 500 and they lose 4 in a row.
And they tease you, and you can blame the big guns today. It's not because they were playing some minor leaguers out there. Garrett Cole had trouble early on. Juan Nicasio. These are guys that you expect if they have a 4-0 lead.
You have trouble scoring runs, and they lose 3 in a row, only scoring 4 runs. They get 6 today. It looks like it's going to be enough, and it isn't.
Yeah, you're right. All right, so let's go out to the phone lines. We got Mike out in Charlotte. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, thank you for taking my call. I think it's rather obvious after today that the best move the Pirates can make in the offseason is to bring in Molly Mays.
Well, they got to make a lot of moves in the offseason. But I still think they're close, Ron. I still think they're a third baseman, a starting pitcher, and maybe a reliever away from being
maybe they're Babe Ruth, Luke Gehrig, and Joe DiMaggio away, only 3 players, but they have given you no indication that they're going to spend money to bring in any of those guys. I'm with you. Until this 2 starts in Toronto over the weekend by Trevor Williams and Chad Kuhl, I thought those guys were really coming on, and they both had bad days over the weekend. If they're your 4th and 5th guy the way they've been coming on, I'm okay with that. I was worried about Nova. He had a good start last night. I think the starting pitching has a chance. Glass now again is going to get another shot. He's absolutely tearing it up in the minor leagues. The scouts still rave about him. Nick Kingham looks like he's on the way back. They have some good young pitching, I think. They need a third baseman. I'd like to see him get another starter. Easy to say what they need, a lot harder to predict that they're going to go out and do it.
Yeah, they're not going to pay money to get a third baseman in here and a starting pitcher. Those cost a lot of money. All right, back out to the Pirates, and we're going to go out to Jeff in Portage. How you doing, Jeff? Jeff.
Hey, Rich, Ron, how you guys doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
I have 2 things about the Pirates. About Marte being lazy and Polanco being lazy. Do you think a lot of that has to do with Hurdle seeming like, he's not hard on these guys. It just seems like he lets everything go. And then the second thing was the players like McCutchen and them. Don't you think they're a little disappointed that the owners and Neil Huntington isn't doing anything to better the team. It seemed like McCutchen was a little upset, and he's like, okay, we got to do this ourselves again.
Jeff, to address your first situation,
yeah,
I definitely think there's something in that locker room that they're not too happy about.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call him lazy and like nonchalant. I think sometimes Marte is especially just absolutely loses focus out there, almost brain dead in the field, like doesn't realize what the situation is. We've seen that on the bases. And as far as McCutchen and those guys being upset, yeah, I get that. But McCutchen was god-awful for 7 weeks of the season. He was hitting 200 on May 23rd. Those early games count, too. They were like 7 games under 500 in April and May. Maybe if some of those guys had played a little better then, they would be in a little better spot. I get it that they didn't do much to help at all with the trade deadline. They didn't do anything. Bringing in Sean Rodriguez, I think, was good. Contos did give up a home run today, but he's been good. I think they tried to do a little bit, but maybe too little, too late.
Everyone gave up a home run today. They had 5.
Yeah, 5 of them.
Go up to Bob in the Slopes. How you doing, Bob?
Oh, hi, guys.
Thanks
for taking my call.
Yep.
I'm talking about the Buster Posey rule.
Okay.
Yeah, try to explain it to me, will you? Because I don't understand it.
Changes.
Well, when they first started out, they called it on everybody. They even called Russell Martin on a force play at the plate. And for the last 2 years, I haven't seen any call at all on it. Have they just eliminated it, and should a manager not challenge it?
You know what? It looked to me like Hurdle shouldn't have challenged last night. My interpretation of it, and I don't know. I don't think Hurdle knows. I don't think the players know. But my interpretation is you're not allowed to block the plate if you don't have the ball.
Have you noticed it
But
being
the
called
guy
on
last
W?
night clearly had the ball. I had no problem with that. I thought it was a good call by the umpire. But again, I don't proclaim to understand it.
Yeah.
There's so much confusion about it. And I think the caller's right. A couple years ago, they called everything. Now it's a lot harder to figure out for everybody.
It's like the catch in the NFL. What is a catch and what isn't?
Right.
I mean, that's going to be a debate again this year. All right, back out to the phone lines. Let's go out to Jim in New
Hey,
Bethlehem.
good
How you
evening,
doing?
guys.
What's up?
Thanks for taking my call. One of the things that I don't understand with Marte being eliminated for 80, 81 games, you have a young man that played at Mississippi State that's teared it up with base hits. He had more hits in the college in that one season than anybody in the league, and he's probably as high a hitter as they've got. And they set him on the bench as soon as Marte was able to come back. I think that's poor field management. That's one thing. Polanco's legs are too long for his body, and Marte and both he are lazy, and ownership, and Huntington on down.
Well, he made a lot of
Is he talking about
foresight.
Adam Frazier there, I guess?
Yeah, or Jose Asuna.
You know, these guys know their players better than I do, and sometimes Jim Leland taught me a long time ago, Rich, that role players are successful because they're role players. And if you ask them to do too much, you overexpose them. Frazier's done a nice job for him, but I don't think he's my everyday player. Marte's been an all-star. He's won 2 Gold Gloves. I don't think he's lazy. I don't buy that at all. I do think he loses focus at times. I understand the frustration. I think he did have a couple more hits today, had a couple last night, but they're all singles. He's not hitting for any power. And, you know, they need some home runs from that guy, and they're not getting them. Polanco was going great in the month of July until he hurt his hamstring the second time. He was hitting almost 400 in July, and to me was a big reason why they turned it around, went 12-2, and then he gets hurt in that 12th win of that stretch in Colorado, and he hasn't been the same player since. So I certainly get the frustration. I don't like labeling a player lazy because I don't see that. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't think they're lazy. I agree with you, Ron, where maybe he takes plays off, and he's
Well, I think mentally,
not
yeah,
there
yeah.
Sometimes. And Polanco does the same thing. You know,
Right.
he scares me every time there's a ball hit to him in the outfield. All right, we're going to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls, some of your tweets coming up next. Stay right there.